Let's fight! A fantastic Monday evening to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from. It's our privilege to have you guys in the ring, to have you guys ringside. Let's fight, guys. I hope you guys are up to it. I hope you guys got the stamina. Long night ahead, lots of information to share with you guys, and great to see each and every one of you. Really good to see each and every one of you in the ring this evening, wherever you're joining us from, at home here in Ghana or around the world, guys. Let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. We're getting that bell. We're getting this bell to set some of you off. We're getting the bell set, folks. Wherever you guys are joining us from this evening, let's fight. Lots of information again to share with you guys. Trust that you guys have had a very restful weekend. Jenice London Welchman and Cecilia Abrams, all of you fantastic folks out there, whether you're in Guyana or you are somewhere else in the world, Region 11 internationally, wherever you guys are joining us from this evening. Quite a few issues to get through. We're going to be joined by Mr. Aubrey Norton, the candidate for leader of the PNCR. I almost said presidential candidate. Might have to ask him about that also as he comes on during the course of our program. But great to have all of you guys. We are set with the fight card, and definitely you guys know that Aubrey Norton is on that fight card this evening. No doubt. Those of you who support Mr. Norton in his quest to become leader of the PNCR are going to be joining us this evening. If you're new to the program, welcome. And you guys know that we always ask you to share the live stream, to share the live stream, as well as we want to see those emojis. We're not wasting time this evening, guys. I am ready to get to the fight card. A lot of information, as I said, to get through, and we're not going to waste too much time at all. Good to see you, Kesh Sharma there, Aileen Kendall, and Don Raymond. Good to see Claudette Harry. All of you fantastic folks. Guys, tonight you're going to want to share this live stream back to your profiles, back to your groups. You want to send the link to a friend, whether you guys are joining us on Twitter, you're joining us on Facebook. Yes, lots of you guys joining us on Facebook. Y'all fast. Y'all come because y'all fast. Y'all know that. Let me admit it. Let us admit it. To thine own self be true. That is what Shakespeare said. The Bible says truth on the inward parts. He desires truth. The good book. Both are true. Same thing. To thine own self be true. Y'all know y'all fast. Accept who you are and let us move on. Accepting the problem is the first step to becoming better. Trust that you guys have had a great weekend. Whatever you guys did over the weekend, and you have come back fired up, ready to go. You guys are refreshed and you're ready to have a go at it. Good to see you, Ibon Lamy. Good to see you, Ibon, just to there talking your name. Oh, here's the ringing. Just to there talking your name. Don Raymond, and again, Claudette Harry, Shalon Joseph, all of you fantastic folks. Great to see you guys out there in the virtual world across social media. If you're joining us on YouTube, we want to see those comments. We want to see those emojis. You guys are joining us on Insta. You guys are joining us on Twitter. That's what I want to say. We want to see those emojis. We want to see those shares as well. You're joining us on Facebook, guys. We want to see those comments. We want to see those shares. We want to see those emojis. Y'all know by now we lick Chris for it. We lick Chris for the we scrape it and we huggish. These are the things we hungry belly for the shares, for the emojis. Great to see each and every one of you. Nicole Jones. Guys, it's going to be a no holds bar where the interview with Mr. Norton is concerned. I'm going to put some tough questions to him. He's vying for a very, very important office in our nations. The PNCR gives leadership to thousands of Guyanese. Thousands upon thousands of Guyanese. And folks, that is not something we take lightly at all. And that's not something Mr. Norton and the other folks who are contending take lightly at all. It's one of those, you might want to call it bedrock parties. It's an institution in its own right the People's National Congress reform, and we're going to be talking with him during the course of our program. Guys, you're going to want to stay through for that. If you guys got your popcorn and your coke, you're going to want to get 2 sets. And those of you at home, you're on your couch in front of your smart television, or strap yourselves in, you're driving to work, you might want to do the same. Elizabeth Maloney, good to see you out there. Desiree Manuel and Claire. Is it Natalie Harry and Laverne Harry Chiran, Kelman Passad? I should have started since 6 o'clock just to call all those names. Simone Wickham, good to see you there. Bernadette Patricia Miller, good to see you. Bernadette and Claire Capel. Claudette Angela Austin, good to see all you fantastic folks. Guys, we want to see those shares while we trust our operator puts us through to all of the necessary places where we need to be this evening. We want all of you guys to be up close and personal. Guys, I hope you got your seat secure, your ringside this evening. I would rather be no place else. Guys, I'm going to be asking the question, and I'm going to be a spectator all at the same time. I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be fired up. I can be ringside with you guys, and I in the ring too. Refereeing this match. Great to see so many of you guys as you come on. Share the live stream. I'm going to give a couple of folks a shout out, and then we're going to get right to that fight card. I'm always saying fan card. Lou Portican, good to see you there, and Gwyneth Jones, all you fantastic folks. Donna Brandt, great to see you. Guys, we want to see those emojis. We want to see those shares. That is what we want to see, folks. Let's fight. Good to see each and every one of you. Guys, really trust you had a good day. You worked for the money. You put in the work. You put in exemplary service. You don't just have a walk. You have a career. You have a career, and you give your pound of flesh to the man. You give your pound of flesh. Good to see all of you there. Cherry Jeffrey, and Denise Mitchell, Rowena Cummins. Good to see all of you fantastic folks. Thanks to all of you who support the program. We're still inviting you guys to come on board and partner with us. $5 US, $10 US, $15 US, $20 US per month. And there are various ways in which you can do that. Guys, come on board and partner with us and help our program to keep moving forward in a bigger, better way, to expand, to move forward. And there are lots of platforms available in which you can come on board and to partner with us. That having been said, folks, I want you guys to give a share to the live stream. We want as many persons this evening, especially, to join this discussion. Share the live stream. Find a way, guys, to come on board and to partner with us. Those of you who did so in September, we want you guys to come back on board with us. Those of you who've done so in October, rather, I should have said those of you who did so in August, we want you guys to come back again and partner with us. Those of you who did so in September and now in October, we're grateful. Those of you who did so in September, come back and partner with us, folks, and help us to do this in a greater way. Share the live stream. That being said, folks, I am ready to get right to it. Where the fight card is concerned, I don't want to waste any time this evening. That being said, folks, great to see all of you there. We have the fight card available. Good to see you out there, folks. Cheryl Mulrain and Denise London Welchman. Is it Volme Wilson and Juma Mullian Mullen? I see Chanel Webster's here with us, and Donna Allen, Nicole Yaw, all you fantastic folks. Gladstone Matthews, Juma Harris G, good to see you there. Isola Allen. Isola, I haven't seen you in a little while. Great to see you there. And guys, once more, as we get the show on the road, folks, share the live stream tonight. You know, guys, how we feel about that. You know, we feel in our bones when you guys share the live stream. You know, we feel it in our bones. Guys, that having been said, let us get to the fight card and let's get our preliminary issues out of the way, folks. Great to see so many of you once more in the ring. Welcome, whether you're joining us on Twitter, Facebook, you're joining us on YouTube, you're joining us at home here in Guyana, or you're joining us from around the world. Great to see each and every one of you in the ring tonight, guys, and let's get right to it. First and foremost, to those of you in the diaspora, sharing with you guys some international news, And those of you who may have been following, those of you who may have been following some international news, especially out of Sudan. His name is Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. And he is the military general who has just led a coup in Sudan. And according to the report out of Reuters, ladies and gentlemen, soldiers arrested most of the Sudanese cabinet members today. Most of the Sudanese cabinet members, while the military chief has dissolved the transitional government, while opponents of the takeover took to the streets where gunfire and injuries were reported. If you know that region, Sudan is a very, very troubled place, has had lots of coups in the recent past, and today this, as they said, this military chief, Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, he took over the country. He is a general who also headed what is known there as the Sovereign Council, a ruling body that shared power between the military and civilians. And he announced, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, he announced that the military is needed to protect the country's safety and security. He has announced a state of emergency there as well. And the council that governs this interim government, this transitional government, has been dissolved. And that is the news out of Sudan, ladies and gentlemen. Some news closer to home. Some news closer to home, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know we've been telling you about this story, about the Jamaica's Jim Jones. We've been telling you about this story. And guys, unfortunately, we have an update for you this evening. And we couldn't see this going this way, but we have an update. And this is His Excellency, as he called himself, he dubbed himself a god. He dubbed himself a god, Mr. Kevin Smith. He is dead tonight. That is our report at this hour. He is dead. And according to Jamaica Gleaner, Kevin Smith, the controversial pastor of Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries, and a policeman have succumbed to their injuries they received in a car crash just today, ladies and gentlemen. They were pronounced dead at hospital. Smith was being escorted at that time to St. James, rather from St. James to Kingston, to be charged for murder, among other offenses, when he met his untimely demise in an area called Bog Walk in St. Catherine. Again, this is the very, very controversial Jamaica pastor who just recently at his church, there were members shooting members, stabbing members. There were 2 church members who had their throats slashed, and all of that. He is that controversial pastor. Just today, ladies and gentlemen, he died in a car crash. Just today. And I want to share that information. I want to share some more of that story with you guys. And we're picking this up again, coming out of the Jamaica Gleaner there in Jamaica. Take a listen to some of what transpired there.
Steve Walker from Bagwalk Sampling. I'm president of distributor of IGR.
Okay. Mr. Walker, you were riding your bike along the bypass and you met up on an accident.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened from there.
I met up, I was passing, I saw a lot of crowd. I was taking picture. So no man. When I stopped my bike, the police was in pain. And I sent for a car bar and start brace off the door. And then that door couldn't brace off. I'm going on the other side, on the driver side. Pull it and 2 other way. But me and an hombre come up, but we not spotting that. And assist the police take him out. Take out 2 of them. Fireman, first man, then come on, second. Then I shut and carry them to the Spanish Town hospital, and then And the assist the one back, you know what? Finally, so the one back in dead, man, the pastor, man. Because you go there and feel him pulse. And you feel no movement, and the pastor was bleeding through his nose. No, the policeman was bleeding through his nose and the mouth. And then you go for gloves, put on, but the police they never search the one back. We will take them out now and put him on ground. We start searching, take off in clip in extend magazine, handcuff, and then we have him gun and step out in gun and to the police.
What was the condition of the pastor at the time? At the time, did you realize that it was Pastor Smith?
Him can't hide. But when I touch him, you know, I feel like one heavy burden. One heavy, like something that's raised. You know what I mean? Come over, it's like there's a spirit. There's a spirit.
What did you do? What did you do then?
When you realized it was him, what were some of the thoughts that went through your mind?
Right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Father God, the spirit, that's Father God shield you. Father God, the shield from this. Because I know he's a very powerful father, but you, pastor, but you more powerful than him. I'm just feeling poison and just go to the assess the police. From you see the accident, you know, see the policeman did.
What kind of injuries did the pastor have? Did you?
Visible injuries, you saw.
I feel like it's an internal bleeding. And no, there's no blood on the pastor.
Was he conscious?
In neck him broke. I see him neck rest on the policeman shoulder.
Okay.
That time the policeman was dead. Because the policeman, when the vehicle get licked, you see the policeman dead. I said, because blood was coming through the nose and the mouth.
You say you went to the hospital with them.
Yeah.
What transpired at the hospital when you guys went to the hospital?
The police unit.
What happened when you got there? What was it?
All right, one of the policeman was speaking. So. But him feel some pain and back. That time one of the policeman was
Folks, and that's it where that is concerned. Again, the very, very controversial Jamaican pastor, His Excellency, as he called himself, fashioned himself as a god, Kevin Smith. He is dead at this hour, met his demise early on today in that very, very brutal car crash there in the area called Bogwalk in St. Catharines in Jamaica. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to turn our attention very quickly to some other issues. Last week, we covered the comments coming out of Miss Giles. Miss Giles, you remember that name? Catherine Burrows Giles. We covered the comments coming out of Miss Giles, and we want to bring you an update on that. And again, this was Cynthia Barrow Giles, this academic out of UWI Jamaica, who commented that the Court of Appeal was had issued some controversial decisions surrounding the elections cases that came before that body. And they went on to say, she and another colleague of hers, Mrs. Cynthia Barrow Giles, that it took the CCJ to have reversed some of those decisions. And I would call a very stinging editorial, politics and the courts. Starbuck News picked up on that comment or those comments rather, and I wanted to share some of that with you guys this evening. That editorial out of Starbuck News just yesterday, and there were two specific issues that I want to raise because I know that you guys have been discussing these issues in your own quarters, and this is what part of that editorial out of Starbuck News read. It said that perhaps he was referring, and this has bearings to the fact that their contention was in the Guyanese experience, we were resorting too much to the court for what they consider to be political issues that should have been solved in the political sphere, in the political domain. And this is what one of those lecturers said on this issue, or rather what Starbuck News said in response. Perhaps he was referring to the Commonwealth Caribbean, because certainly the United States electoral issues have sometimes found their way as far as the Supreme Court. And here the Starbuck News editorial went to talk about what happened when George Bush Jr. was elected president there and the huge contentions they had. And I guess the point Starbuck News is making here that, look, if these first world countries have resort to the courts, why not us? Why not us here in Guyana? And the question we were asking, and it still lingers, is what is Cynthia Barrow-Giles' stake in all of this at this 9th hour? Cynthia Barrow-Giles, what is her motive in all of this? And the second issue that Starbuck News editorial raised, and this was it. The editorial contended that the professor averted to Guyana's political immaturity, and taken with this country's turbulent political history, one wondered why she and her colleague did not consider the courts might have a role to play in our political evolution. So here's where I think Culture News was saying, well, y'all immature because y'all don't have a good sense of our own history here. The editorial went on. Ladies and gentlemen. One supposes that they are aware that some of the nation's elections have been accompanied by considerable violence. That has been less the case in very recent times. But despite that fact, that the official declaration of the results took unconscionably long last year, the challenge only went on in the courts and not in the streets. And that was a very valuable point that Starbuck News raised there, and one that we have been talking about in political discourse in various parts of the country. We would rather the contention and the conflict and the fight happen in the court as against in the streets. And so again, there we're talking about Cynthia Barrow-Giles and her colleague about our political immaturity. And then here is Starbuck News pushing back and say, look, guys, you don't understand our history. Better the case ends up there than the conflict ends up in the streets. And as we run that, folks, lots of you have been asking for an update on the elections petition. And I want to give you a very brief update on that from this evening. A very brief update. Petition 99 is up for hearing this very month. Petition 99 is up for hearing. However, the aspect of the hearing we're informed will focus further on the considerations by the Court of Appeal, that is, on the issue of jurisdiction. And we are advised that the appeal of Petition 99 has not yet come up for hearing. So Petition 88 has not come up for hearing. So Petition 99 supposed to be heard by the Court of Appeal on the 28th. That is the information that we have at this hour. And coming off of the Cynthia Barrow-Giles issue, we wanted to give you an update on where the elections petition is. And so it is not passing strange that you would have an academic who would have been part of the supervisory team from CARICOM at the national recount, making those comments, on the heels of the hearings for the Court of Appeal getting underway. And one wonders, the question has to be asked, whether these comments are meant in some way to influence those decisions. Because why would this academic come out at this point in time and talking about the questionable decisions that have come out of the Court of Appeal on these elections cases? Quite irresponsible. That being said, folks, again, as an update, Petition 99 comes up for hearing on the 28th, and Petition 88, that hearing has not been decided on as yet. Folks, I want to focus on the small man tonight, because the small man is out there balling out. The small man, ladies and gentlemen, out there balling out. Y'all know things tight. Things tight. Money is circulating, and the little money that's circulating, the goods and services so expensive. And then there was this statement by the Bishop over the weekend. Minister of Infrastructure installed one Edgil who was visiting the Mandela Avenue site there you know, the rehabilitation work that is ongoing, and made the point that there are lots of vendors out there, but where you want them to be? Where you want them to be? Go out there and see how many of those vendors still got a pink slip, or how many of them got any of those cash grants that have been distributing. And here is one Ejil who prides himself as a servant of God. Oh wow, saying that roadside vendors will have to go. He says too much, you have to relocate. Relocate. These guys promised 50,000 jobs, but they're putting people out to work. They're taking bread out of people's mouth. God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. And I ain't got a point for, remember Kevin Smith, His Excellency. God don't like ugly. Right? So here are these folks who care so much. We care. And the bishop especially, the bishop, quote unquote, a lot of self-appointed people, self-appointed doctors, they didn't study a day for PhD, but they waltz around the place. You got to call them doctors. And then these self-appointed bishops and popes and all these folks. Now, he gone out there to say to the vendors, y'all got to go. Y'all got to go. That being said, folks, we see how a lot of things start, but we don't see how they're going. And some of these issues this evening, I want to check in on. Some of these issues, we got to check it on, because as soon as you turn your face, the PPP doing some skullduggery. Soon as you turn your face, oh, they're coming with a lot of promises. But here is Ejil telling these folks, vendors, y'all got to go. Where are they going to get money from? You got COVID compounded by a horrible, horrible economy. Thanks to Ashley Singh and the PPP. Where are they going to go? And so let's check in on some of those issues that we've been touching on. Because just over the weekend, the media was also checking in on some of those issues. Y'all remember Sharon Hicks, the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs? Yeah? Y'all remember Sharon Hicks? Well, she filed still with DPP. Y'all remember the bribery story? According to the news media, the chambers of the Director of Public Prosecution, is currently in possession of the case file on the bribery allegation against the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs Permanent Secretary. This file there a long time. A very long time. The police had a sting operation, caught her in the act with the money, the marked bills, and now there's this bribery allegation. The file is with the DPP, and lots of files with the PPP. And so the media was trying to get an update on this matter. Her filings with the DPP. Sharon Hicks. You know why she filed with the PPP for so long? Folks, you know it and I know it. We all know it, because she's PPP. That's why she filed with the DPP. You know who else filed lingering someplace, getting cobweb? Y'all remember this fella? Carl Singh. Again, just over the weekend, the media tried to get an update as to where his issue is. Try to get an update on that. Here what came out of that. The police commander, and this is again out of Stabrook News, the police commander in Region 9, Superintendent Raphael Rose, he said that he is not in a position to say what is the next step in the investigation where REO of Regional Carl Singh, this jagabat here, shot Gladys Benedict, shot that young woman. The investigation is stalled. And the police commander says, Raphael Rose, according to Starbuck News, he could not say what is the position or what is the next step of the investigation and whether Carl Singh's license will be revoked. Y'all know why Raphael Rose can't say anything about the investigation one way or the other? Because Carl Singh is PPP. That's all you need. That is all you need under this installed administration. PPP. And you do no wrong. That is the only qualification you need to be PPP. And we've told you We have a growing list. Look at some of the Jagabats. We told you Carl Singh is one. Right? Rafael Rose cannot tell us where the investigation is. Terichan Balgabin from Finance knocked down the young teaching Barbies. He filed with the DPP. Zamal Hussein, he knocked down a pedestrian too. He filed with the PPP. Alicia Darimple, never charged. She never got a file. Bitter policeman. Faisal Jafar Ali knocked down a 12-year-old, left the scene of the accident without rendering any assistance. He never got a file neither. Right? And then you got Dr. Grayson. Knocked down a pedestrian as well. Lots of people like they can't drive. Knocked down a pedestrian as well. If them biting policemen, they're knocking down pedestrians. Dr. Grayson still walking free. Nothing has come of that matter. And we've spoken about Sharon Hicks. So you all see the list there is growing, folks. The list there is growing. Signs of the times. Signs of the times, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's happening there. Signs of the time. Crime continues to spiral. Them boys getting desperate. They ain't care. They ain't care if you're in a wheelchair, you're an amputee, you're blind. They do not care. If you're a pastor, an imam, a meji, what have you. There is little concern for those issues. Just over the weekend, an amputee met his demise at the hands of the bandits. Where is the crime plan? We need a comprehensive crime plan. Where is the crime plan? An amputee. Just over the weekend, the lifeless body of a tuition housing scheme East Bank SC cable shop owner was yesterday morning discovered bound and gagged and his home ransacked. Nobody is safe. The dead man is identified as Keith Richard Hohenkirk, 59, an amputee of lot 3840 tuition housing scheme. An amputee. God, man. You ain't got no conscience? Huh? You're going to look like what the man? The man trying with a little hustle with a little shop. You even say to rob him, you're going to kill him too? Huh? Wicked set of people. Wicked. But take Kevin Smith, His Excellency, as an example. God has moved suddenly. And will move suddenly with some of you scamps and crooks. Suddenly. So just over the weekend again, Keith Richards Hohenkirk has lost his life there. Where is the crime plan? Where is the SWAT team when you need them? They seem only to appear and disappear conveniently. Where are they, ladies and gentlemen? The PPP comeback is just a whole set of promises that go in no place. A whole host of promises that go in no place. You're not safe. You talk with visitors in this country and they will tell you, they will confirm for you there's a tenseness in the atmosphere. Nobody wants to go any place. Coming on, we learned that there was a robbery. Folks came home to bury the dead and they robbed. They come home to bury their dead. And all of them were robbed. I think the one news media said that this was coming down from the airport or something of that nature. Barely glanced at it coming on. You are safe nowhere. You are safe nowhere. Overseas based Guyanese robbed by armed bandits. That's what the headline is screaming. The PPP come back. They ain't got a plan. They ain't got a paddle. We just adrift. The PPP come back. And if you want more evidence, ladies and gentlemen, you better share this live stream to the outside world and the diaspora. See what's happening in this country. You need more evidence that the PPP come back? All right, take this in your stomach. Take this in your chest. Rig Man. PPP Rig Man come back. PPP Rig Man. He's come back. You all remember the name Gocool Boodoo? You remember the name Gocool Boodoo? If you don't know, you better ask Vincent Alexander. Let me tell you what news source is telling us about Gocool Boodoo. the PPP Rig Man. You see why they wanted to get rid of Lowenfield? Why they wanted to get rid of Myers and Mingo? You see how the picture coming together now. You understand how the picture is coming together. So here's what news source said. This man has a tendency of giving PPP things that don't belong to him, that don't belong to them. He has a proclivity of giving the PPP elections that don't belong to them. This is news source. 8 years after his contract as chief elections officer of the Guyana Elections Commission was not renewed, Gocool Boodoo is hoping to make a return to the Guyana Elections Commission. Why would he think he has a chance? This is a set piece. Why would he think, after he has been dismissed, let go, his contract was not renewed, rather, let me be accurate, his contract was not renewed. Why does he think he has a chance? It's a set piece. They have set this in train for a purpose. You hear them talking about local government elections, which are supposed to be just next month. Why? Because he's not there as yet. So according to news source, multiple sources at GECOM confirmed that Boodoo, who served as chief elections officer up to 2013, is among 16 persons who have applied for the GECOM top posts. He's among 16 persons. Boodoo's contract was not renewed in April 2013 following a majority vote of the commission not to rehire him. Here's the story now. He was accused of attempting to declare erroneous results in 2011, which would have given the PPP a majority. It would have given the PPP a majority win. Although the combined opposition secured more votes. So the Rig Man come back. It didn't stop there. It didn't stop there. Listen to what news source says. It was Commissioner Vincent Alexander who drew attention to the issue. Astute Vincent Alexander. And this resulted in the PPP leading a minority government. He was giving them the majority with that one seat. This is the Rig Man. These are the real riggers. I hope you all sharing the live stream. These are the real riggers and the sanctimonious gangsters. Hear what news source said in conclusion. Before that, so in 2013, he tried to give them the majority, even though electorally they were elected as a minority government. Before that, this is news source, Big Uncle Gordon. Boodoo was also accused of miscalculation of votes in a previous election that gave 10 seats, that gave region 10 seat, that gave our region 10 seat to the PPP, when that seat should have really been given to the Alliance for Change. This is the real Rig Man. This is the rigger here, Gocool Boodoo. So he tried to give them a majority in 2011, right? In 2013. And then in 2011, he even sits now from the Alliance for Change. He has a tendency, a proclivity of giving the PPP elections that they didn't win. He has a proclivity of doing that, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, stay with us. Aubrey Norton is going to be here. I'm going to have to put some of these questions to him as well. So the Rig Man, the real riggers, you all remember the name. When the trenchies are telling you about rigging, just call Gocool Boodoo. He's just one. He is just one. There was an infamous computer guy there too at GECOM. He's just one of the hatchet men. PPP Rig Man, Gocool Boodoo. He's just one. So bear that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Moving along the fight card this evening, the National Assembly. Well, it's Puckatory there. Puckatory there. Puckatory, everything the PPP is trying to rig in their favor. So they're now trying to rig the Public Accounts Committee there at the National Assembly. They're trying to rig it to suit their needs. Now, the Public Accounts Committee, even though the PPP has the majority, there are 5 members, the coalition has 4 members on the committee. By convention and by the standing orders of Parliament, the coalition, the opposition always chairs the committee. Now we want to double up on the work. And we discussed this last week. We want to double up on the work. And here comes these guys. Here comes these guys. We must meet just 1 day per week. A motion was validly passed recently that says that the committee will meet twice per week, as we said, to push out the work. Gail now bringing a motion to rescind that. Why? Because we're coming up to the 2020-2021 audit, the general report, where we're going to scrutinize now where all them big money payout, cash grant to farmers and flood grant and all of that going to be scrutinized. But they don't want that. So here's an attempt to stymie the work of the Public Accounts Committee, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Starbuck News had a stinging editorial just today. And let me quote 2 aspects of that editorial for you guys. Let me quote 2 aspects of that editorial for you guys. Here's what Starbuck News said about them there. Here's what Starbuck News said. It is not for the PPP and this is not for the PPP PAC members. Their 5 members. It is not for them to speak on behalf of the constitutionally elected, the constitutionally independent Auditor General's office. They came out saying that if the Auditor General office meets twice per week, you can stymie their work. If this agency come twice per week to the PAC to scrutinize spending, it's going to stymie the government work. Starbuck News, dig it up in them. It is not for the PPP PAC members to speak on behalf of these constitutionally independent bodies. It is not for them. The editorial goes on. The latter 2 would be acutely aware of the pivotal role of the PAC in ensuring that the highest prudential standards are maintained. And it would be their responsibility to ensure that adequate provision is made for attendance at the behest of the PAC. So it's not for the PPP to decide who can be summoned to the PAC and when they can be summoned. The editorial goes on. Furthermore, these ministers on the PAC who believe they are too busy to attend to the business twice per week should seek leave of the house to be replaced. If you can't handle the work, move out the place. That is what the PAC is saying there. That is what the editorial is saying. You can't handle the work, move out the place. And we know the PPP can't handle the work, don't leave flaming. And finally, the editorial slams them again. Here the editorial says, the unwillingness of the clerks to serve the PAC over the alleged unprofessional conduct of some members of the committee is baffling. More baffling. When did these clerks become aware of this conduct? Had they sat on these PAC meetings? Had they sitting on these PAC meetings? Was it word of mouth? More importantly, did Mr. Isaacs become aware of this supposed unprofessional conduct of PAC members? Because Mr. Isaacs wrote recently, if you guys have been following, that clerks do not want to clerk for the committee because of this unprofessional conduct, supposed unprofessional conduct of PAC members. Names weren't named. And so this is Starbuck News taking them to task. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, on this front, Starbuck News says, just declaring out of the blue that a clerk could not be provided for scheduled meetings of the PAC is unacceptable and reflective of poor management. Mr. Isaacs himself should have provided clerking duties himself to the PAC until a replacement could be found, particularly as he should have been aware of conditions that led to the present situations there. Folks, and we're heading into the main event. Heading into the main event, folks. Y'all know where they're with COVID. Y'all know where they are in COVID. Just in passing, very briefly, 2 more lost their lives to COVID just today. 98 persons lost their lives to COVID-19 in October alone. 98 persons. And today's the 25th, bringing the total to 897. Ben should resign from public security. Frank Anthony should resign from health. Priya Manichan, all of them should resign. So 897 to date. Mind you, when they took over office, 21 deaths. They had 21 deaths and 474 confirmed COVID cases. Now we have 35,104. That is their management on the COVID-19 front, ladies and gentlemen. That is their management on the COVID-19 front. You are going to want to put your seats in an upright position as we're heading in, guys, to the main event of the program. You're going to want to pull your seat in an upright position. I see Mr. Aubrey Norton is in the studio. You're going to want to share the live stream as we change the paces, guys. As we change the paces in the program, you're gonna wanna switch it up just a little bit, guys. Mr. Aubrey Norton is here. We got lots of questions to ask him. He is ready to go. He is fired up, and the gentleman is ready to go, and we are ready as well, guys. So we want to give you a second or two just to refresh yourself, guys, as we go and come again. We give you guys a second or two to refresh yourselves. Second or two to do that. Stay with us, guys. Stay with us. Mr. Aubrey Norton is in the studio. Stay with us. Stay with us.
I am not hearing you.
A very good evening, sir. Welcome in the ring once more.
Good evening, and thanks for having me, and good evening to your viewing and listening audience.
This is our segment that we call, Mr. Norton, the road to the 21st Biannual Congress, the road to the 21st Biannual Delegates Congress. PNCR decides 2021. And first and foremost, congratulations on throwing your hat in the ring for the coveted post of leader of the PNCR.
Thanks. It's just the beginning, but thanks for the congratulations. I hope that at the end of the Congress, you'll be congratulating me again.
Fantastic, fantastic. Sir, let's get right to it. Uh, Mr. G.K. Lal appears to be one of your many fans. And in a recent editorial, in a recent opinion piece in Demerara Waves, he had this to say: Aubrey Norton has done more than thrown his hat into the ring for PNCR leader. He has been selling himself as a man as the man rather, to lead comrades and the party out of the political wilderness in which it has been mired over the last year now, if not since the fateful, successful no confidence motion in December of 2018. From my perspective, Mr. G.K. Lal says, from my perspective, he has more than signaled his intentions and sold himself. He is the front runner for that coveted leadership position of the PNC. Do you see yourself as a front runner, sir?
Yes, I do. And I think, well, I don't know Mr. Lal personally. I'm an avid reader of his opinion pieces, but I think he's correct. Anybody who wants to be objective and face reality, apart from my long history in the People's National Congress reform, one would recognize that after the no confidence motion, there were not many who were prepared to articulate a position and give guidance to party members. And I became very active after the no confidence motion because I thought at that time our people needed more political leadership and clear political leadership. And so I actually moved into fill that vacuum and to be the person analyzing politically the situation, articulating the position so that our members and supporters can understand what is happening and therefore prepare the basis for them to be mobilized and organized so that we could have achieved our objectives. And so I agree in large measure with him that it's the right time and that I'd done enough to become the leader of the People's National Congress reform. But while he would have said that, for me, the work now begins because I think I have to do a lot of work to consolidate the support base. I have to do a lot of work to bring back some people to the party. I spent today talking to a lot of leadership type persons who became non-active between like 2006 and now. And as I speak to many of them, they are saying to me they are prepared to come back to the party and let us build it from the bottom up.
Very well. Sir, there was a recent issue that made the press. It seems that even though he didn't say it directly, Mr. Roysdale Ford, who was at the launch recently of Mr. Joseph Harmon's campaign, and this was the statement attributed to Roysdale Ford. He said, we must not use statements. We must not use euphemisms. We must not use words grassroots to mean a return to an acknowledgement that the People's National Congress reform is a Black people party. It is not a Black people party. It is not. It has never been, and it must never be. A leader that is tribal, a leader that is tribalist, cannot advance the cause of the people that support the People's National Congress. You seem to have taken that as an affront. And in part of your response to that, part of your statement, you said that it is laughable but mischievous. You said if Mr. Roysdale Ford has been in the PNCR long enough, and another portion of the statement you said, again, Mr. Roysdale Ford is too new to the PNCR to know. Does that mean that you have to be around long to play a meaningful role in the PNCR?
Well, no, because I have worked and brought many young people to the party. But what the point I was making is that if anybody will suggest that I can't mobilize and I don't reach out to the Indo-Guyanese community, I was drawing to his attention that, look, your statements are not the best statements to make, because my history in the People's National Congress reform has been one in which I promoted people who I thought can serve the party. Winston Murray, who, as you're aware, is Indo-Guyanese, I had worked with him and worked assiduously to make him leader of the People's National Congress Reform. And I was making the point that while some had reservations, I was one who had already committed publicly to having an Indian leader lead the People's National Congress Reform because I felt, one, he had the intellectual and other competence. Two, I think he was a trusted and loyal person to the party. And so for me, it is not the ethnicity that matters. It is your competence, your capability. And Winston Murray had manifested that. I also pointed out some other issues. And all I was saying is, look, your statements must be in consonance with the facts. And the facts will show that I have worked closely with Indo-Guyanese leaders in the People's National Congress Reform. In fact, I can tell you this. I went to East Bank Babis on the weekend to one of our hard-working Indo-Guyanese supporters, and I went to talk to him about work and supporting me in the party. And he said to me, I don't know if you've been informed, but I had said to the party, I am not going to be serving at this stage. Of course, that wasn't communicated, so I didn't know. He and I had a long exchange on what happened. And then he said to me, if I check Facebook, I would see that he was supporting me. And that while he is not active, once I become leader of the party, he will return to the party. And so I said to him, okay, and we will work. And there are a number of Indo-Guyanese in the party who I've worked with. I've reached out to even Indo-Guyanese in the AFC who I have been talking with. And so the point I want to make is that I champion the cause of ordinary people, of poor people, of vulnerable people, regardless of their ethnicity. And I thought it was disingenuous to insinuate that for some reason the party will become a tribal party. It was never. I came up under Forbes Burnham, who consistently told us, you have to be responsive and mobilize Indo-Guyanese in the party, Americans in the party. And I thought if the young man who I have respect for, I think it is unfortunate that there was a kind of choice of language. Of course, I understand the politics on it, but I have respect for him. I believe there's a role for him to play in the party, but I think he needs to be more careful with his language. Because also, one of the things I avoid doing is being unnecessarily critical. I have been campaigning, and I have not campaigned against anybody. I campaigned for me and a leadership team. That is because also I believe mature leaders will not attack each other in the party, knowing full well that once you become leader or the person is a member of the executive, a lot of what was said can be used against the candidate. And so I thought that there is need for people to be very selective and be careful with what they do. In fact, I have since communicated with him, and we're in a better position now. And I intend to speak to the leader of the opposition, who is a candidate, to say, I expect that this will be a civilized competition in the election, and at the end of the process, we should all work together.
That being said, about choice of language, your contender for the very post of leader of the party, Mr. Richard Van Der Charles, Dr. Richard Van Der Charles, just this evening in another online publication, made reference to this Johnny Come Lately statement. And he said that he was particularly concerned about this Johnny Come Lately statement made by you
I never did.
in reference to Royce Hill Ford.
I never did. The press people do their own thing. if you read the statement I made, nowhere in it was it I stated anybody was a Johnny come lately. What Dennis Shabral did was to take the statement I made and put his own caption. But at no stage did I call Roysdale Ford a Johnny come lately, and I wouldn't. I was integral talking with Roysdale before he came to the party and when he came to the party. And I want to say categorically here, I already told Roysdale this, that if you look at what I wrote, there is nothing like that. It is the wicked journalism that put as the headline, this Johnny come lately. If you said Dr. Van West Charles mentioned it.
Yes, and the statement attributed to him, and this is out of newsroom, says he would have said, "They obviously don't know me. I just heard it recently with Aubrey and Roysdale, and it is an unfortunate statement. It runs counter to the value system of the party." That's the quote attributed to Dr. Van West Charles.
All I would say to Richard Van West Charles, he needs to be more careful. He should have read the statement, and he would not have been misled in believing that I said that. I will not describe anybody in our party as Johnny come lately. I brought people to this party who came and developed. And so it should be clear to all of the listening audience and the viewing audience that at no stage did I call anybody a Johnny come lately. I did refer to, because Winston Murray, when I was campaigning with Winston Murray, was 2008, 2009. I was saying to him that he would not have been around then, and so he might not know. So I was informing him that I did campaign to make Winston Murray what would have become the first Indian leader of the party. All the others are the normal fabrications that go. In fact, I actually sent Dennis Shabral a note which said, "You are wicked." He didn't respond.
That being said, and on that note, Mr. Norton, what would you say? Well, rather, let's start from the statement again. Let's dial back there. One reading the statement might think that you are at pains to point out, for the want of a better phrase, your Indian credentials. What would you say to those who feel that you might have trouble attracting the Indian base of the PNCR?
Well, the PPP has begun to carry a narrative. Now, let me say this to you. I have worked in the last two elections, and particularly the one before, in Indian-dominated communities. I was campaigning in Region 3. And I worked with the Indians in the AFC and in the party. And I went into the community, met many Indians. But I'll say this to you. There are already Indian businessmen who said to me that they will support me once I become the leader. They are young Indians. At least two of the young Indians on the last list the party had, I was the person who recommended them. And I do believe that the attempt is being made to create the impression that there is no support amongst the Indians. But there is. I have already spoken to a number of Indians in the party who are clear that they will support me for leader. And I wouldn't be ruffled by what is being said. I know it is part of the PPP PR campaign, because the PPP has taken a decision that the person who could stand up to them is Aubrey Norton. And in fact, I understand they said that they can live with any candidate except Aubrey Norton. Well, I will work to ensure I am the person who they will have to deal with. And I believe I have integrity. I know that they went through all the documents, because they went into the office that I headed Youth Empowerment. They went through all the documents and they could not find one iota of wrongdoing. And so they are in a position where they don't have anything to criticize me on. They can't criticize my ability. They can't accuse me of corruption. They have searched. They are unable to find anything to even trump up a charge. And so I believe that the PPP sees me as the person who can take on them. They also know that in 1997, when I was made General Secretary, I went into the fields and remobilized the PNCR in under 1 year. And by the time we went to the 1997 election, we were vibrant and effective. And so I think the PPP has an approach in which they are doing everything to ensure that Aubrey Norton doesn't become the leader of the PNCR. But the members of the PNCR, if you follow them, they are clear in their head that of the candidates, I am the best to become leader of the People's National Congress reform. And I will pursue that with diligence and ensure that I succeed.
Very well. Mr. Norton, you spoke there about having young Indian support in the party. Do you think that in this Congress that you should have more young people who should be the face not only of this Congress but of the reformed PNCR?
The list that the team I will work with will have a balance. And I would like to see at least 6 or 7 of our old staunch party comrades in the executive remain, and about 9 young people come in, and we put in place a system in which the youths that come can be mentored. Now, I do not believe people should become anything because of youth. I am identifying young people who showed that they have the ability and can go forward, regardless of who they might want to support. And I am not saying that I support, but look, I'm impressed by young Sherwin Holder. I'm impressed by Vince Roy Jordan in Region 5. And I cannot see myself putting up a team without bringing in competent youths who work. And I do not only look for people who talk. I look for people who talk, but also have the ability to do the work and to contribute to making this party a better party. There are other names that I have that sure will be in my team as youth. I serve as Presidential Advisor Youth Empowerment, and I spend a lot of time and resources contributing to the development of the youth in recent times and historically. I served at the University of Guyana, where many young people I've interacted with, and many of all ethnic groups that are included. I remember years ago, there was a young woman who was employed at the office of the president, and she went for an interview, and she migrated after, young Indian girl, I won't call her name, and she was asked who was her mentor, and she said Aubrey Norton, and in no time she was unemployed. So I do have links with youth. I do believe in youth, and I will promote youth, but I don't want to fool anybody. I don't believe anybody should be promoted because they are youth. They should be promoted because they have the potential, they have the capacity, and since all parties should have a proper system of mentoring and replenishing its leadership, then there should be youths there to be mentored, replenish the leadership core, and move on. Now, I am 64 years of age. I do not see myself as being threatened by any youth. I see myself as passing on my experience, giving leadership to the youth, and among the youths, leaders will emerge. But I also want to remind people, when you talk in politics, youth is not only age. If you are inexperienced and you don't know what you're about, you are young in it. So I'm speaking about youth with ability and competence. You could be 75 years of age, 80, but you just get into the political fray. You wouldn't have the political experience. And so I believe in bringing youth, mentoring them, and let them emerge. I don't believe, however, in handpicking people and say this is the best one, that is the best one. The party's process they should be involved in, and the party membership will identify those who they think are competent. And I mean, look, if they want to talk about youth, again, I was sent to Linden to campaign, I think it was in 2011. And there were many adults who were annoyed with me, but I thought Sharma Solomon was a young man with potential, and I saw no harm in him leading the region. And I think we need to do more of that. Take a lot of young people and put them at the regional level with the clear aim of them moving up. We do a wrong. You take somebody, they just come and you carry them straight to parliament. They don't even know the basics in the regional system. We need a proper system, but that is dependent on the party structure. Once we fix the party structure, there will be a structured approach to people, and including young people, coming through the system, learning and moving to the top of the party leadership.
And on that very question, you've said that persons shouldn't come to the party and just head to parliament. Are there persons there currently who you think should not be there, or who fits that bill?
No, there are always people who people feel shouldn't be in parliament, but I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on a process. I'm not focusing on individuals. There might be those persons. One of the young men I call Sherwin Holder, young, new, and went to parliament, and I think he's doing well. But the point I am making is that the system needs to be organized so that they can get experience in the system, and by the time they meet, whatever level they meet, they would have passed through the system, have training. Look, one of the things I'm going to do for the People's National Congress is education and training. A lot of these young people have potential, but we have to train them. We have to train them in leadership. We have to train them in management. When I joined the People's National Congress Reform, Forbes Burnham ensured we were trained. That has fallen off the map. I intend to bring back to the People's National Congress Reform a proper training, education and training program so that we prepare all of our people for politics and leadership in the country.
And you talked about Sherwin Holder and some other young persons. Are there young persons who are on your slate right now who might be backing you, who you can call a name this evening and say X person is solidly Aubrey Norton?
I can do that, but in the nature of this politics, I don't want to do that. At the right time, I will say who are the people that I am working with. I know the political culture in this country, and I don't want to do that. But I can say to you, there are young people that are competent, need exposure, and many of them I will promote. When I met Sherwin Holder in Essequibo, when I went to perform a particular exercise, I immediately came back to Georgetown and said to people, this is a young man with ability, and recommended that he should become an MP. Of course, the decision to make him it is not mine, but it was one of my recommendations because I thought here is a good young man with competence, etc. So a number of names will emerge.
Mr. Norton, you spoke about some of the things you want to do to the party, for the party, of which education is one of them. Taking a glance at part of your platform, I see 14 points, and this might just be 14 of the many things that you want to do. What would you say would be the top 3 being elected as leader of the PNCR on day one?
Now, first of all, my first main task is to put back the party on the ground. And that is what I meant by making it a grassroots party. I came in the PNC in the days of Forbes Burnham, and the party operated from the bottom up, never from the top down. So my first priority is to rebuild the party from the bottom and ensure that there's a connect between the leadership and the bottom. My second priority is to improve our party membership level through education and training. I am a firm believer that anything can happen once you have well-trained, well-organized human resource. I believe the basis of all development is human resource. Excuse me. And so that will be my second priority. My third priority will be to take the measures to ensure the party is transformed into a viable economic unit. You know, I believe that a party must empower its people and it should take its resources, utilize them, and ensure that it is transformed into an economic unit. I just give you one example. For years, I have pleaded in the People's National Congress for us to put a gas station at the front of Congress Place where people pass in to Sophia. Now, I thought that that was a simple project that can earn for the party while it's utilizing its resources. So I put economic empowerment as critical in the sense of creating a viable party that has its an economic base and can help its supporters to be empowered. And I believe the party, even while in opposition, must have a strategy which I have worked out with a team of people for the empowerment of party comrades while they are in opposition. But for all of that to happen, the first real task is to instill hope in the party's base. We have a strong base, and to galvanize them, organize them to ensure we achieve our major objective, which is to get rid of the People's Progressive Party.
And on that note, Mr. Norton, one of the points on your manifesto, and you did talk about it a little bit
The
earlier.
manifesto is not yet out yet.
The part of your plan, I think it's at point 4. It says that you have the integrity and the courage to take on the PPP and defeat them. How would you do anything different than what perhaps David Granger was able to do in 2015 with the AFC and other parties? Or are you aiming to do something similar?
Well, I aim to do something similar, but I aim to do some additional things. When a party's membership is fired up, you get far more out of them. I just give you one area. The low turnout in our support base is one of the areas that has to be addressed in a comprehensive way. Look, if we could just carry up our turnout in our support base, we'll beat the PPP bad. But we have to do structured work. We have to do organized work. And so I am into the coalition. I intend to have more structured meetings with members of the coalition, but there are some other things I think we need to do to ensure we beat the People's Progressive Party. Some of them I don't want to put in the public domain, but they will be done. And I believe we will beat the People's Progressive Party. Having said all of that, I've said before, my first agenda item has to be a new voters list. We have to have a structured campaign to get a new voters list, because the voters list as it exists is a recipe for PPP fraud and irregularities. And you know the PPP has mastered the art of thieving, but blaming other people for thieving. So it is one I have to pay careful attention to.
And on that note of the voters list, the current GECOM chair didn't seem to have much appetite for a new voters list, and they seem to be heading down that road of Gocool Boodoo. What are your thoughts?
Well, I saw in the press that Gocool Boodoo should not even been allowed to apply. Here is a man that on more than one occasion, it was clearly established that he operated in a partisan fashion in the interests of the PPP. On one occasion, he gave the AFC seat to the PPP. On another occasion, it is alleged that he was falsifying numbers to give the PPP a majority. It is the vigilance of Vincent Alexander that ensured on 2 occasions it didn't happen. So I think it is an affront for Boodoo's name to be mentioned in close proximity to election.
Good. That being said, Mr. Norton, you talked about a new voters list and some of the other stuff you would do on day one as being elected as the PNCR leader. How do you see your own posture moving forward, if that is to happen, being different, radically different or not from your predecessor?
I don't like the concept of radically different. I think what is needed is for us to be more strategic. It is for us to be more organized. It's for us to ensure we have a clear message, and for us to do the work on the ground, regain total confidence in our support, allow our support base to regain total confidence in us, and then we can do anything. When we use the concept radical, people could read anything into it. I believe the PPP has to be taken on politically. They only understand political action. There are various forms of political actions that can be utilized to ensure we make the PPP responsive, then accountable, and then remove them from office. That has to be the approach. I think one of the ways I will be significantly different from recent leaders is that I'm going to be on the ground a lot. I will definitely restore this party to a grassroots party in which it is always on the ground, in which it has representatives in various communities, keeping in contact and linking. I am criticized sometimes for being on the road a lot, liming. Well, it is so I connect with people. And rather than cutting back on being on the road, I intend to increase it. I intend to make it national, because the truth of the matter is the PNCR needs a leader now that has energy. You can't sick today and sick tomorrow. You need energy. You need to be out there daily. You need to be mobilizing and organizing people, and you need to be around. And that is what I intend to do. We've got a glorious party. We have had the likes of Oscar Clark, Jeffrey Thomas, Rashley Jackson and company. I believe that we need to put them together in a group so that they can give advice. I don't intend to be a maximum leader. When Burnham formed the party, he was a young man and emerged as maximum leader. Since Burnham, it has shown that maximum leaders don't work well. I intend to have an executive in which the critical issues will be brought to the executive, we discuss them, and then we formulate the way forward and have give clear guidance, political guidance to our support base. I believe that is what is necessary. So for me, it is what we do in terms of organization and staying in touch with our people. And that is most critical. You know, people make all kind of criticisms. But I tell you, as I travel the country, and I've been to all regions except Region 9, I'm going to Region 9 shortly. Now, everywhere I go, it is one thing people ask me, Mr. Norton, please, could you stay on the ground? Mr. Norton, the last set we elected, many of them after we elected them, they didn't used to answer the phone. Mr. Norton, please answer your phone. Please stay on the ground. Please be accessible to our people. And I've given them a commitment that I will be accessible. I will be on the ground. And so I am not worried when people talking all kind of nonsense about you liming here and you liming there. In the days when you had to be around Forbes Burnham went into communities. I recall one time he went and he sat down on a drinks box and started gaffing with people. And so that for me is it. We have to be on the ground and we have to have our people access us. And a lot of times we miss when the people can be in contact with you and access you, it's also a source of information. I believe if we were in real contact on the ground, there would have been no confidence motion if we were in contact and were responsive to concerns raised. And one of the things I intend to do is to be very responsive to critical concerns of all members of the coalition. Because once you are not responsive and you are not addressing issues raised, then you are creating vulnerabilities.
Mr. Norton, you talked about formulating working groups and think tanks with the likes of former Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Ashley Jackson. Do you intend that former President David Granger would be part of one of those groups?
My position is, well, I didn't say think tanks. Look, we need to tap in to all the elders in our party. Mr. Granger has contributed. Like all leaders, he would have made mistakes. Our task as the now leaders is to analyze what they did, know what were their strengths, utilize them and improve on them, know what are their weaknesses, and ensure we attenuate it and don't make the same mistakes. Look, as a leader, I will make mistakes. Those coming after me will have to analyze it and move forward. So I intend to have a People's National Congress reform in which there's a place for everyone. I know skills that former President Granger has, skills that he has rather. So for me, it is not about personality. It is about what they can bring to the organization that is going to contribute to its development. And I do not see David Granger as somebody outside of the party. I see him as a leader of the party at present. He is matured in age. And once there's going to be an elders council, I see no reason why he shouldn't be there. Robert Corbyn should be there. So no individual will be excluded because of some perceived personal thing. One of the things I think we need to get out of the party is remove the personal, what you call it. Look, when I joined the party, it was about the People's National Congress reform. When we acted for the People's National Congress. We acted in the interest of the People's National Congress. It is in recent times that this thing has become a lot of personal, what you call it. My intention is to restore the party and make a party the most important thing. Look, throughout my life, I have been in this party. Under Forbes Burnham, I had opportunities, etc. I had opportunity under Desmond Hoyt. We had disagreements. I believe there were times when I was wronged in the party, but I never left the party. I think Raphael will tell you that at one time he had asked me to go to the AFC. We were talking about it. And I told them, yes, I am committed to the People's National Congress reform. And whatever happens, I will stay in the People's National Congress reform. Because when you leave the People's National Congress reform and go to another political party, people worry about your commitment. I don't want anybody to worry about your commitment. The PPP offers a lot of money for people to switch. I have sent messages to them more than once that my interest is not wealth. My interest is serving the best political party I believe will develop Guyana. For me, that party is the People's National Congress, now in coalition with the APNU and the AFC, and I will be there. Not everything that was done in the party was done to suit me, But my commitment has always been first and foremost to the People's National Congress reform, which I think serves our people. And I intend to transform it into a party in which our people believe they are served.
Very well. Mr. Norton, there was a protest a few short weeks ago, the aim of which seemed to have been shutting down Georgetown, shutting down the national capital city. And some say that you were the architect behind that protest activity there. The success of it that is in question. Do you see that as a barometer of your leadership?
Well, first of all, let me say this to you. I don't know what people call the architect. A lot of our support base, and I should start first, if I see it as a test of my leadership, the only protest since we were in opposition that had more than 1,000 people was that protest. That means I would have succeeded, because from mobilizing 20 and 30 and 50 people, the square had more than 1,000 people, which shows I have the capacity to mobilize. I don't want to get into the other things that were done. So I see it as a success. But I don't believe that the development of our support will occur at one slash. You have to gradually do the work and build up. And let me remind you, if you want to know if it's a barometer of success, we weren't getting out Georgetown. And it wasn't a protest that included the East Coast and all about. It was solely Georgetown focus. And we brought out more than 1,000 people with limited resources. I believe when I become leader of the party and I'm mobilizing the entire country, the PPP will be in trouble. So I see it as an indication of the success that can be achieved. Now, I believe that I was targeted. I believe the attempt was to instill fear. And so I dealt with it. And then I thought the government did another thing. They just start picking up people wild and put them in there. And then I was told I was going to be released. And I said to them, no, I can't be released alone. Everybody here had to. And I mobilized the resources and paid bail for everybody. Because I believe as a leader, if people were with you and they get picked up for wrongful reasons, many of the people that pick up in be nowhere close to the protests. Some of them they pick up on Regent Street where I wasn't on the Vicinian Road at the time. But I believe that we must treat our people in a particular way. So we dealt with them, we are together. Many of them want to continue the struggle. We will continue the struggle. I believe at this time we need to focus on rebuilding the party in the way we should, and then equip ourselves to take the PPP on. I believe that the PPP is weak and vulnerable. It's a question of how we organize, how we message. Once we can do that, the PPP will be history.
Mr. Norton, you talk extensively about your experience. You've been General Secretary of the PNCR. You've worked for Foreign Affairs. You have been a parliamentarian in the recent past administration. You've been an advisor on youth. What do you say to those persons who say that your party has never elevated you past those middle manager posts to a minister or so on?
To have been General Secretary could not have been middle manager. So that is a misconception. Look, in political parties and in life, people a lot of time promote people who they can control. They are known, it is known that nobody will be allowed to control me. I don't seek to control people. I seek to talk with people, influence them, get them to buy into what I'm doing. And I think it's the reason that I've maintained support throughout the years. I am not worried. If I am moved for incompetence, then I will worry. But no time in my history that I was removed for incompetence. You ask the young people in this country, the programs I had while I was presidential advisor youth empowerment. I don't know what informed the movement, but I know my competence cannot be questioned. And I delivered. When I became general secretary, the party was not mobilized. I became general secretary on the 1st of January 1997. I organized a massive mash parade and mash activity. And after that, the party was up again. And that came because I was going from community to community, meeting ex-party comrades and bring them in back. I've spoken to a number of party comrades today who said they will come back once I become leader. So I'm not worried about all of this thing about promotion, etc. I mean, you are a member of parliament. You know that I give valid advice to members of parliament. I would help them, I'll advise them. I don't want you to come in. My tenure in terms of dealing with the members of parliament, I don't think anybody could question my competence. But you were, through a mutual agreement, we parted ways. So for me, what matters is competence. And my competence cannot be questioned. Whether I was a foreign service officer, when I negotiated the Biodiversity Convention and a number of other things, my competence cannot be questioned. And what matters to me is competence. People can move you because they have power. They can keep people who are incompetent because they have power. The problem with that is that when there is too much incompetence and power keeps the incompetence, you end up out of government.
Protected incompetence. You talk about not being able to be controlled. Is that what if people translate that as being a wild card and a maverick? Why should delegates at the 21st biannual delegates Congress put their X next to Aubrey Norton for leader?
First of all, I mentioned the competence which they know. Secondly, they know I will square with them. If I say this to them, that is what I mean. And so they can trust my word. Also, they don't have to worry that they're going to be bullied into a position they disagree with. They will have the freedom to discuss the issue. We compromise and we arrive at a position. One of the things I object to, which ended up in recent times permeating the party, is this thing where people believe because they have power, they can dominate and control people. And even if the person disagrees, they must agree. I intend to remove that from the party. The other reason why people should vote for me, I am, as a party leader, will allow the communities to identify their leaders. I wouldn't sit in Georgetown and identify people who I don't even know. If a party is to be effective, its workers on the ground should be the people choosing the people to represent them, and the leadership should work with their choice. And if for any reason there is a disagreement, they should be able to deal with it. So I believe people should vote for me because they will be involved in the process, because they can trust my word. And most importantly, the PPP cannot pull out anything out of the bag to say I'm corrupt. And that in itself for me is a big issue, because when you're confronting the PPP, you have to have no skeletons in your closet. Once you have skeletons in your closet, you become compromised and vulnerable. And I believe one of the advantages I have over all candidates is that there are no skeletons in my closet. And I think for that reason, party comrades will trust me and want to work with me, because they know tomorrow morning they're going to wake up and hear nothing except it's some trumped up, fabricated, what you call it. I have served government for years in the foreign service. Recently, and I have studiously avoided becoming involved in illegalities because I know it compromises candidates. And so I believe those are just some of the reasons why they should vote for me, but they should also vote for me because they know over the years, whatever level I was involved in, they could have accessed me. They know that if they call me and I don't answer, most of them know that I will go through my phone and get back to them. And I believe our supporters like to access their leaders. And of the leaders running, I think I'm the most accessible. And I think, therefore, our support base will be very much in favor of somebody that is accessible. In fact, one of the criticisms of party members is that too many people became inaccessible. And so I think there are more, but I think those will recommend me, not to mention history of the party, and the PPP can come and say something and I ain't got a response for it, because for the length of time I have been around, I have studied the People's Progressive Party. I know the history of this party. I know the history of Guyana. I know what is happening in the international world. And therefore, that institutional knowledge will help me as a leader. And I think that will also recommend me for leadership of the party.
Very well. Mr. Norton, most persons who run for leader of the party and are successful tend to make a run for president as well. Is that part of your plan?
Well, I can only look to see what is being said whenever I'm running for leader. And most I see on Facebook is Mr. Norton for president. I have a tendency to be responsive to popular views. But another thing I should have mentioned to you that makes me a front runner. Most of our support base believe I'm the best candidate to carry us into an election. And many of them are saying to people they will rally behind me, but they have serious problems if some others are elected. So I think that recommends me as well. But I have seen the whole thing about president. For me, in politics, you get past the first hurdle. The first hurdle is to become leader. I've seen what is being said. And I do believe that many people believe I should be the presidential candidate. And I will work and be responsive to our membership and our support base.
Very well. And are you equally as willing to work with some of the other persons should they be successful?
My history will tell you that all of the leaders, whatever disagreements we have had, I end up working for the party. Look, after Desmond Hayton, I got wrong in 1999, 98, 99. When the party felt that it needed assistance, I was called and I went and helped the party, even though what happened in 2011, after I wasn't returned to Parliament, or before, the party felt that they needed a strong person in Linden. We had lost a seat in Linden. I went to Linden and mobilized and organized our party base and regained the seat. I heard some people are going around telling people I have no achievements in the People's National Congress reform. Well, I'm saying to them that when the party lost the Linden seat, the party called on me. I went to Linden and I won that seat back. I don't want to get into too many things. What I'm showing you is even at times when people did X, Y, and Z, I said I will work with the party. Mr. Harmon will tell you that when we agreed to part on this matter, I said to him and I agreed with him, any assistance that is needed, I am prepared to give. I have always put party before person. Sometimes people say stupid, but a born and born on party, and I want to see this party legacy upkept and we carry it forward.
That being said, Mr. Norton, quite recently there was a publication in which Mr. Granger, former President David Granger, is quoted as saying, as in favor of the party's Congress being shifted in view of COVID-19 and some other issues. What are your thoughts there?
I believe, look, if you're pushing back the party, the coalition, is criticizing the PPP, saying they're incompetent, they're handling COVID badly, and they're saying that COVID is with us for a long time. If you use COVID to push off the Congress, then you don't intend to have a Congress, because you yourself are saying there's an increase in it. So COVID cannot be used. What we have to do is take the precautions and develop proper systems to hold the Congress observing the protocols, the COVID protocols. So I believe the Congress should be held. The people in the party believe the Congress should be held. I support the people, and so I believe it should be held. And those who don't want a Congress, in my opinion, they are merely seeking to maintain control of the party apparatus rather than focusing on getting proper leadership in the party and strategically placing the party so it can beat the People's Progressive Party. I believe critical to beating the People's Progressive Party is the holding of Congress, the rejuvenation and reorganization of the party to ensure that we succeed. So I am clearly in support of Congress. I put it in writing that I'm in support of Congress.
Mr. Norton, we have the privilege of having thousands of persons watching us still, and thousands more are going to watch this interview in the coming hours. I'm certain that you have some of your delegates who are watching who are already supportive of your candidacy. You have some who are on the fence as well. You have at least two contenders who are declared. You have Mr. Joseph Harmon. You also have Dr. Richard Van Wish Charles. What do you say to the delegates who are watching tonight? If you had to pick one or two things as being the decisive and definitive things that separates you from your competitors, that you would say to them, on these things, I should be the next leader of the PNCR.
I have a vision and plan for the party. I have manifested my commitment to the party. I don't think my intellectual capacity is in question. I am a grassroots person. I am in contact with you, the members of the party, and I believe all of those things will endear me to our members and supporters. I believe that our party, my party, our party comrades, they have been in the forefront of asking me to run. And in large measure, I have acquiesced to their demand. I am running. I am in contact in all regions, though I have not been advertising what I'm doing on Facebook and appearing to be, I have been on the ground. I have been working with the party members. And I believe once our party comrades come to the Congress, they will vote and vote overwhelmingly for Aubrey Norton as the best candidate among them. But I want to say this. I've already said to Comrade Joseph Harmon that I am disposed to working with him after the election. Richard Van West Charles has announced he is running. I am also disposed with working with him. I believe as a party, when we are through with the Congress, we need to find roles in keeping with people's ability for all our leaders. And so the next thing that will recommend me to them is that I don't intend to sideline anybody. I intend to integrate everybody and unite the party for one objective, taking on the People's Progressive Party and regaining government. I think that will appeal to them.
That being said, Mr. Norton, I want to thank you for being in the ring this evening and for having this very robust discussion on a variety of issues. Is there anything that I may have failed to ask, but you want to get out there to the supporters?
Well, you haven't failed to ask it, but I want to thank our supporters, our members for staying with me and recognizing that at this stage, I'm probably the best candidate to lead the party. I want to express my special thanks to them and to say to them, you can guarantee Aubrey Norton will be a leader that is accessible to you and will be committed to this party and do what is required to ensure we regain government. That is what I say to our support base. And they can look forward in the near future to see me in all the communities.
Thanks very much, Mr. Aubrey Norton. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Folks, there you have it. The man himself, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton, the candidate himself for the highest post in the PNCR, that of party leader, and a man who has comported himself as being the next leader. He has clearly said he is the front runner for the party at this point in time, and we are definitely going to be walking you guys through the paces. We're going to be following the candidates, we're going to be following the issues, we're going to be following the events as they unfold right here on this program. We are going to also show you one of the campaign videos in just a couple seconds for Mr. Aubrey Norton's campaign, and we're going to have another candidate tomorrow evening, guys. So you're going to want to tune in. You're going to want to stay glued right here, guys. And after we play this campaign video, we are also going to have, we are going to stick around and give you guys some shout outs. Thank you guys for sticking around. I want to show you that that video coming out of the, if we can only put our hands on it, coming out of Mr. Norton's campaign there. Bear with us. But thank you guys so much for sticking around, and thanks to Mr. Norton as well. Thanks to Mr. Norton as well, who has been here with us and has walked us through and give us guidance on so many issues. And we hope that we got in some of the questions you guys yourself would have wanted to ask. And we didn't hold back at all. We didn't hold back at all in putting those questions that we had out there for Mr. Norton. I'm still looking for that that insert there on our dashboard here, but I'm going to get that for you guys. And I'm going to stick around just after that and ensure that that we get a shout out to you guys who have been here with us throughout this last hour and 45 minutes, now pushing on 2 hours for our program, guys. And this is how it is. Fortunate, I'm not going to say unfortunate, but we want to get the information out to you guys. We want you guys to know what is happening in the various campaigns. For leader of the PNCR, we're going to be following those persons too and having them in the ring who are going to be vying for general secretary and chairman and all the other various posts there in the PNCR, guys. So bear with us. Stay with us. We want to make sure that we do justice to Mr. Norton and that we show that video. So guys, stay with us for a few minutes longer. Share the live stream as you guys are there. We're tremendously privileged that all of you have stuck around and all of you guys are in the ring, and we are getting set at our end and trying to get the material the material in the right place. So apologies there. It has slipped us somehow, and we're going to get that for you guys shortly. But share the live stream as you guys are there. I know some of you have to slip away to other places and other programs, but again, it was our distinct privilege having each and every one of you in the ring this evening, and I'm ensuring that we have that. I don't know where it has chosen to hide on the dashboard here, but we are going to ensure that we have it for you. Again, big thank you to the Aubrey Norton campaign, and we wish them every success. Big thank you for allowing us to have the candidate this evening. Yep, I think I have it at hand, and let me just ensure that is so. Bear with me, guys. You want to make sure we have it queued up nicely for you guys. And at the end of it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to give a shout out to some of the folks who have stuck with us all this time. I know some of you look out for your names being called, and I'm not going to disappoint you guys at all. I ain't able with abusing, really with abusing at all. So guys, I am getting set for you that video out of the Aubrey Norton campaign. We want to share the candidates' material as well. And so guys, stick around for a second or two longer, and we're going to have that queued up nicely for you guys. Stay with us, and at the end of it, we're going to come right back, guys. We're going to come right back, and we're going to give some shout outs. Take a listen, take a look. Yeah.
Bring it on, bring it on. You ready? Oh. Remember the day when you risked everything just to make your dreams stay flat. Remember when people didn't understand your plans, but that was quite all. Remember your mission, remember your vows, remember how you felt inside. Remember when you knew God had your back, He was gonna be your God. But now the storm has passed your way. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And the sun didn't shine today. What you gonna do? Friend, what you gonna do? Listen to me, nobody ever promised that the road was nice. And if your dreams gon' live, you gotta pay the price. You got to know your friends from your foes. In hard times, your faith must rise. Push a little harder, go a little further, pray a little deeper, clinging to the keeper, till you reach the finish line. Don't you stop, till the devil bring on the gun, cause you're ready. Don't stop, don't you stop. No, no, no. You're ready. Don't you stop. You are born for this. You ready? No, no, no. Tell them you're ready. Oh, I know it's looking like your darkest day, but it's your finest hour. Child of a king, you better use that power. You're a go-getter, so you gotta go get it. Setbacks may come to distract, but don't let it when your knees grow weak. Your faith gotta speak, every promise gotta keep, every goal you gotta meet. Yeah, the doubters will doubt, but the giants will fall. You're ready. Bring it on, cause you're ready. Cause you're ready. Oh, you're ready. You are born for it. Tell them you're ready. Bring it on, you're ready. Oh. Remember the day when you risked everything just to make your dreams stay flat. Remember when people didn't understand your plans, but that was quite all. Remember your mission, remember your vows, remember how you felt inside. Remember when you knew God had your back, He was gonna be your God. But now the storm has passed your way. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And the sun didn't shine today. What you gonna do? Friend, what you gonna do? Listen to me, nobody ever promised that the road was nice. And if your dreams gon' live, you gotta pay the price. You got to know your friends from your foes. In hard times, your faith must rise. Push a little harder, go a little further, pray a little deeper, clinging to the keeper, till you reach the finish line. Don't you stop, till the devil bring on the gun, cause you're ready. Don't stop, don't you stop. No, no, no. You're ready. Don't stop, don't you stop. You are born for this. You're ready. Don't stop, don't you stop. No, no, no. Tell them you're ready. Don't stop, don't you stop. Oh, I know it's looking like your darkest day, but it's your finest hour. Child of a king, you better use that power. You're a go-getter, so you gotta go get it. Setbacks may come to distract, but don't let it when your knees grow weak. Your faith gotta speak, every promise gotta keep, every goal you gotta meet. Yeah, the doubters will doubt, but the giants will fall. You're ready. Bring it on, cause you're ready. You're ready. Oh.
I know some of y'all walking up yourself there, you know. That's how some of y'all get fetch away. Y'all like hear music. But thank you guys for staying with us. Really a privilege of ours. Bringing this kind of content to you, bringing this kind of program to you guys. It's 10 o'clock here in Guyana, just over 10. We've done 2 hours together. I still see thousands of you who are still on the live stream. Guys, share the live stream night after night. On the road to the 21st Biannual Delegates Congress there for the PNCR. We're going to be bringing you commentary. We're going to bring you personalities. We're going to bring you the people, the candidates themselves, folks, as we interrogate this process, as we look at the platforms, as we pose questions to the candidates themselves, their surrogates, and we're going to be moving forward like this, folks, for the next few weeks. So do join us, and as you're there, guys, share that live stream. We're so privileged to have all of you guys there. And guys, we cannot, let me stress that we cannot do this without your generous support at this time. We cannot. And this is only part of what we want to do, you know, guys. This is only part of what we want to do. Guys, we're warming up. We are warming up, guys. That's why we tell you guys, come on board and partner with us. You guys aren't going to be disappointed. It's just part of how we're going to be moving forward, bringing the information and the personalities to you. Good to see you still with us, Wayne Boucher and Debbie Prince. I see Candy Nelene Inderjeet is still with us here. Thank you guys for sticking around. I see also we have Janet Edwards who's here as well. Precious Favor is here too. Debbie Prince. Lots of fantastic folks. Gavin Holder is here with us, and Amanda Daniels. Guys, I have another candidate tomorrow night. He's already agreed to be here, and you guys are going to have to come and see who it is. We're going to announce it tomorrow, but we have another candidate tomorrow night. We have a candidate on Wednesday night, guys. A full week ahead of us. We want to make sure that we have things lined up nicely as we launch this new aspect of In the Ring, as we look at the 21st Biannual Delegates Congress there for the PNCR, the People's National Congress Reform. They're going to be electing their leader, their chair, their general secretary, and quite a number of other persons there to serve at the highest level of our party. And this is the party saying that we are a democratic institution. We're open for scrutiny. We want to come on any platform and talk about what is happening in the various quarters. We are not afraid. We are not afraid at all, guys. And we are going to be bringing it to you ball by ball commentary. We're going to be having the personalities, the issues, the events, the candidates themselves. Good to see you there, Joylyn Cook, and all you other fantastic folks. Folks, we've been asking you to come on board with us, $5 per month, 10, 15, 20, and to help us move the program forward. This is just part. It's just part of what In the Ring is going to be doing moving forward, guys. Bringing you the information, sealed, signed, sealed, delivered, packaged for you right in your home, right on your smartphone, right on your smart television, your laptop, wherever you guys are. We want to be there with you. So come on board, partner with us, and help us to do this. Again, for as little as $5 per month, 10, 15, 20, partner with us and help us to expand our program, guys. Thank you, Gloria Abrams, for joining us this evening. I see Marky and Candy Nelene Inderjeet. Marilyn Cox is here with us as well. Shanna Young is there to Braffit, I think the name is. Dan Rampasad is here. Shout out to Dan. I see, is it? Yeah, Andrew Cuthbert is here as well. Janet Coates. Dolores Denny is here with us. Melissa Barnwell Tappin. Bradford is here. Joylyn Thompson. All you fantastic folks. Folks, it's after 10 and 2,000 of y'all still watching us. You know, we're seeing the back end from Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. Over 2,000 persons still watching us. Y'all fast. y'all drink your porridge and catch your bed, man. Y'all too fast. Good to see all of you guys. Good to see all of you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to see you guys back here tomorrow night. More issues on the fight card, more personalities, more interviews, and then we come to the road to the 21st Biannual Congress of the 21st Biannual Delegates Congress of the PNCR Reform, the People's National Congress Reform. Folks, Decision 2020. PNCR Decision 2020. We're going to be bringing lots more to you guys. Again, we need your support. We need your support. We need your support, guys. So come on board and partner with us again. As little as $5 US per month, 10, 15, 20 US per month. And help us to do this. Bigly. Bigly. Jones Stephanie, good to see you there. Landa, good to see you there. That's how the name is. Yo as the first name and Landa as the second name. Good to see you there. Guys, thanks for joining us so much. Margaret Joe, Paul DeAnjo, Joylyn Cook, Denise Halley. Is it Lloyd Pilu? Good to see you, Lloyd. I may have pronounced Margaret's name incorrectly. Margaret Jones. Clearly, Rhonda Lane and Marlon Thomas. Thank you guys for coming on board. That's our program this evening, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Could not have done it without you. Could not have done it without you. And we're going to close out this program with a theme song from the Aubrey Norton campaign. And thank you for his campaign for availing him to us this evening. Guys, that's our program for tonight. See you back here tomorrow evening. Same time, same place. Thank you, guys. Yep.
If you're ready, you're ready. You are born for it. Tell them you're ready. Bring it on, bring it on. You're ready. Remember the day when you risked everything just to make your dreams stay flat. Remember when people didn't understand your plans, but that was quite all. Remember your mission, remember your vows, remember how you felt inside. Remember when you knew God had your back, He was gonna be your God. But now the storm has passed your way. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And the sun didn't shine today. What you gonna do? Friend, what you gonna do? Listen to me. Nobody ever promised that the road was nice. And if your dreams gon' live, you gotta pay the price. You've got to know your friends from your foes. In hard times, your faith must rise. Push a little harder, go a little further. Pray a little deeper, clinging to the keeper. Till you reach the finish line, don't you stop. Till the devil bring all he got. Cause you're ready. No, no, no. You're ready. You are born for this. You ready? No, no, no. Tell them you're ready. Oh, I know it's looking like your darkest day, but it's your finest hour. Child of a king, you better use that power. You're a go-getter, so you gotta go get it. Setbacks may come to this track, but don't let it when your knees grow weak. Your faith gotta speak, every promise gotta keep, every goal you gotta meet. Yeah, the doubters will doubt, but the giants will fall. You're ready. Bring it on, bring it on.